Welcome to the Dr. Sal Adoni Show. Fans of Dr. Sal Adoni call him the great genius, a figure that Nostradamus wrote about. His theories in math and astrophysics are used by government agencies. His theory E has proven Newton and Einstein are wrong. His prime algorithm is used by the NSA. His planetary distance formula is used by NASA to find new planets. His EOE theory is used by the USGS in earthquake prediction modeling. He founded 2 different think tanks, including Helix Q, the artificial intelligence think tank. Dr. Adoni is the founder of the cryptocurrency BizBytes. Dr. Adoni is also the founder of the One Media Network. One Media produces dozens of podcast shows for the iPodcast network.
This is Dr. Saul Adoni. Welcome to another segment of the Dr. Saul Adoni Show. You can find more segments at sauladoni.com and ipodcast.org. Sauladoni.com is SOLADONI.com. This is Dr. Saul Adoni. You can go to my site, Saul Adoni, that's SOLADONI.com. You'll see my books, things like that. I write a lot about math, history, algorithms. My work is used by the NSA for encryption. My theories in physics are used by NASA to find exoplanets. I'm the guy that did a correction of Titus bodes. In math, I'm the guy that found the 8 prime channels. So all primes greater than 7 exist on one of only 8 prime channels. They're all 30 mod sequence. USGS uses my work for beginning of earthquake prediction. Basically, there's been a 100% increase in earthquakes around the world, the largest quakes over 7.0 in the past 20 years. Today I'm going to discuss this coronavirus that the government is downplaying. This virus, if it is not contained, has been running on a 12% a day increase in mortality. We are now at almost 1,000 deaths from the coronavirus. We're right about 800. So, if you start graphing out the ratio of death increase since this thing started to spread, you're going to find it's compounding daily at 12%. That doesn't sound like a lot, but the fact is, when you take 1,000 and add 12% every day, you're at 30,000 within a month. That 30,000 in 2 months is almost 1 million. That million in 3 months becomes 30 million. 30 million becomes over 1 billion in 4 short months. People, this is something that is rapidly expanding. The numbers are real simple. If you start tracking it, a week ago, and you take that number and you add 1.12%, you multiply it by, you end up where we are today. So just get on a calculator. Put in 800, multiply it by 1.12, and keep multiplying it for 120 times. And you see how fast we get up to 100 million. and then a billion. It's simple math, people. The governments are not alerting the public. The media is not alerting the public. This is a very serious pandemic. It is a pandemic. When you're at a 12% death ratio increase, and you can see the number 30,000 within a month, and then you see the number 1 million in 2 months. When's the last flu that killed 1 million people? Now, pandemics are not new, people. They basically run on a 100-year cycle. And it's right around 100 years since the Spanish flu. That was the last great pandemic almost 100 years ago. And before that, 1820s, 100 years ago, before that, we had a cholera pandemic. And then 100 years before that, in 1720, we had a bubonic plague pandemic around the world. So people, these things are not new. And if the death ratio is only 2%, then this thing will max out at around 160 million people dead. What I'm afraid of is that the seriously ill is around 25 to 30% that get exposed to this. So that means the death ratios could be much higher, in the 20 to 25% range. That's 2 billion people could be dead in the next 5 months, people, if it is that high of a death ratio. So be aware, be prepared, have lots of surgical masks, try to stay away from people, stay inside, stock up on food, do everything you can so you could ride out a 6-month to 1 year window of having as little contact with humans as you can. I hope I'm wrong, but this is simple math, people. And I have a wall full of honorary doctorates for math in my office. Like I said, my prime algorithm, 8 prime channels, the Adoni prime spirals, USGS, the NSA has been using that for decades. It's an encryption algorithm. My correction of Titus Bode's, the first great law in physics, is now used to find exoplanets all over the universe. My work with earthquake forecasting, the USGS uses that. Simple math, people. A month from now, when you see the death tolls around 30,000, and 2 months from now, when you see the death toll is around 1 million, look back at this video and say, why didn't every media cover my warning? The media has a blackout on me in the United States since 9/11. I'm the guy that had the blueprints for 9/11 up on my site before that occurred. That information was put out by my religious name, Solag. You go to solag.com. You'll see the prophecies of Solag. So I'm someone that they say sees the future. I've been expecting a pandemic for years, and now it's here. And this ain't something that's new, people. We're in the Holocene extinction. The way the Milky Way is, takes about 250 million years to move around the Milky Way. Last time we were in this area of the Milky Way 250 million years ago, over 90% of life went extinct. The time before that, when we were in this area of the Milky Way, over 90% of all life on Earth went extinct. So complex life began about 550 million years ago on this planet. After 50 million years, we were right in this area of the Milky Way. 90% went dead. Then we went around the Milky Way for another trip, ended up here 250 million years ago, and over 90% of life went extinct. Well, people, we're now aware 90% and higher ratios of life on Earth go extinct in this area of the Milky Way. Is this a cosmic virus? Some type of genetic planning that's in sync with the great cycle of the Milky Way? Who knows? Did the evil Bill Gates put this out to decrease the population? There's all kinds of theories with this, people. All I know is every 100 years a huge pandemic comes along. Spanish flu 100 years ago, cholera 200 years ago, bubonic plague 300 years ago. So it's a 100-year cycle, and it might be a lot more than 2% that are going to die from this horrible, horrible pandemic that's been unleashed starting in China. And we're now months away from the beginning of it. So now the numbers are high enough where we're at that magic 800 number for death. Yesterday, the death count went up 85 people. So we're growing at 12% a day, people. It's simple math. Get on a calculator, do the math, and you see how fast we can get up to 1 billion. Then you keep doing it, it goes past 8 billion. Well, is everybody going to die from this? I don't think so. But it could be 20-25% of the population around the world might become subject to dying from this virus. I hope it's only 2.5%. But right now, the numbers are looking with how many are seriously ill from this, that 2%, 2.5% die pretty quickly from it, and it might be 10 times higher than that end up dying after being exposed. So people, be aware. For a while, the major media and the governments are going to keep you ignorant of this. So prepare and spread this video to all you can. You want to read my books? I've written over 100 books over the years, people. I founded think tanks. I'm not some nutter. I'm a highly educated, multi-doctorate person who's done a lot of consulting with governments, and this thing is serious. This is Dr. Saul Adoni. Have a great day. To listen to more podcasts from Dr. Saul Adoni, you can visit sauladoni.com or ipodcast.org.